Hello, this is my presentation on my health intervention for Gen Z on vaping by me, Jaden Stambolia. Um, my e-health communication intervention centers on the health behavior target of vaping. My target population in this intervention is Generation Z, and the technologies needed for this health intervention and then that we would be focusing on is social media, in particular TikTok and Instagram Reels. This e-health communication intervention will use social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels to counter the vaping's adverse effects. The main features of this intervention include educational content, using trends in videos, and Q&A sessions. This intervention is feasible as using social media is a very low cost, and it also leverages the ability to reach a younger audience, which has made vaping popular. The purpose of educational content we'll be using to leverage TikTok's and Instagram's ability to create short and engaging videos that highlight the dangers of vaping. These videos can contain facts and tips to help Gen Z quit. The videos can also include testimonials that highlight the dangers of smoking as they do on TV. The use of trends will allow us to use TikTok and Instagram Reels as there are many viral trends that we can adapt to showcase the ways to resist the urge to vape or encourage users to quit. Q&A sessions will allow them to talk to experts who can go live on TikTok and answer health questions about vaping and provide advice for people to quit. When I was looking at previous research in my literature review, I came across three interesting facts. And when it comes to popularity of vaping. While the use of cigarettes in high schoolers has had an all-time low, it's because high schoolers have shifted to vaping with the use of electronic nicotine delivery systems, with 14% of high schoolers are now vaping nationally. As a pill in vaping there are numerous flavors that make it more addicting that are available now, and nicotine is already a highly addictive substance. And our previous studies have shown that almost 93% of youth who vape are doing it very often or always. So they're constantly doing it throughout the day. And another part of the literature review that I focused on was the health risk of vaping. Here are four facts I thought were very interesting and important. Electronic nicotine delivery systems, different amounts of nicotine they deliver. However, the popular Juul delivery systems have a nicotine equivalent of smoking one pack of cigarettes. Another study suggests that addiction and dependence on nicotine comes after the first puff, while the development of e-cigarette dependence among people who use e-cigarettes is very common. And studies have shown that high dependence on vaping in Gen Z is significantly associated with health risk factors, especially with an increased risk of depression within Gen Z. The significance of my proposed project, when we was doing the literature review, I saw that there was a gap in the literature. Existing literature primarily focused on vaping addiction and associated risk factors among Gen Z. However, limited research explores using social media platforms to counter vaping among this demographic. There are traditional intervention models versus the e-health approach. For example, the prominent models like screening, brief intervention, and referral to treatment, also known as SBRIRT, are effective but lack an e-health approach. A study notes that the effectiveness of SBRIT tools in countering nicotine addiction among Z and Gen Z. Another significance of my proposed project is that it will show social media's potential in public health. Previous research has highlighted social media's effectiveness in addressing public health issues such as mental health via platforms like TikTok. This project calls for utilizing platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels alongside SBRI tools to combat vaping among Gen Z. And I also realized there is a need for further research. There is a gap in understanding how social media platforms can be leveraged for e-health interventions targeting vaping among Gen Z, as another study previously stressed the importance of studying the relationship between behavioral change and engagement on platforms like TikTok for better health outcomes. The innovations and benefits from my project include reach the Gen Z population, as there's a high engagement levels among young people. 88% of the internet users between the ages of 18 and 29 are using social media platforms. It also gives versatility in addressing public health topics. Platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels have been effectively utilized for various health issues, including mental health. And using TikTok and Instagram Reels allows for a creative and novel approach, as creative integration of information using audio-visual content and other elements on platforms like TikTok elevates the message delivery. Some additional innovation and benefits of my health intervention include the utilization of social cognitive theory, as observational learning and interpersonal connection is allowed. Social cognitive theory allows individuals to observe and connect with others, facilitating the development of new behaviors. When people engage, have this engagement and begin to see the behavior change, personal TikTok accounts can demonstrate high engagement, indicating the effectiveness of observational learning and influencing behaviors. The theoretical approach in my proposed health intervention uses two theories. As I just previously talked about, social cognitive theory. It was developed in 1980. It focuses on learning new behaviors and attitudes through observation and environmental factors. For example, observation learning through educational content and testimonials on platforms like TikTok and Instagram. We will also see personal and social interactions shape behaviors, facilitating vaping resistance or just quitting overall. And the next theory is social ecological theory. It utilizes interpersonal, social, environmental, and institutional levels of influence to address public health issues like vaping by considering multiple perspectives and disciplines. The integration of my theoretical approaches when it comes to observational learning and environmental influence, the educational content and testimonials on social media platforms will allow observation of vaping behaviors. Well, it will also allow interpersonal and social interaction to shape behaviors at the individual and community levels. And we'll be able to see multiple level influence and behavior change, as Q&A sessions with experts and trend creation addresses vaping issues across various levels of influence. And when it comes to environmental and personal actions, we'll see them contribute to shaping behaviors, attitudes towards vaping cessation. The subgroups of Gen Z with higher vaping rates, I created 3 personas. The first persona is white male high schoolers. The second persona is Hispanic Latino male high schoolers. And the third persona is American Indian Alaskan Native male high schoolers. When it comes to the white male high schoolers persona, we see them engage in vaping at the highest rates among Gen Z. They're often from low resource families residing in low income areas with high vaping and tobacco shop presence. They also tend to have low levels of education, both in their families and personally. The second persona, Hispanic Latino male high schoolers. There's emerging trend of vaping among the younger Hispanic Latino population. They are also in a similar social economic background to white male high schoolers of low income neighborhoods and low education levels. They are also targeted by tobacco industries, possibly due to low cost vaping products and the language barrier for them not understanding the health risk of vaping. Persona 3, it was the American Indian Alaskan Native male high schoolers. They are the third highest population of vaping use among Gen Z. They share economic similarities with the previous personas residing in low resource areas of high vaping rates. They are also targeted by the tobacco industry with misappropriate culture and energy concepts used in marketing. There's also emerging trend among young women. We have seen increased vaping among them, rising in popularity, although usage might be less frequent due to limited access to vaping than compared to males. There's also a lack of awareness about nicotine content in e-cigarettes, possibly to reliance on peers for access when it comes to women. The discussion I wanted to talk about when it comes to my proposed project, social economic status. Most Gen Z individuals struggle with vaping addiction come from low social economic backgrounds. We need to ensure that they have access to technology and internet, and as this is crucial for the success of this health intervention, as it relies on platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels. We also have to take cultural and language considerations in, as there are differences among them. It must be addressed for this health intervention to be successful. Incorporating Spanish language content and captions for the Hispanic Latino high schoolers is essential for it to work for them. And we also have to avoid cultural misappropriation and consult with indigenous leaders for appropriate messaging is vital for the American Indian and Alaska Native high schoolers persona. Lastly, with consultation, we need to figure out how to adapt for effectiveness. Consulting with cultural leaders and communities can provide insights into effective messaging strategies, and adapting the intervention design aligned with these characters and behaviors of the target personas will enhance effectiveness within the targeted population. This is the first wireframe I committed with being a TikTok. I'm gonna let it play. As that video played, you saw some of the design features and considerations I took into creating the TikTok. Um, Not all the features were there. We'll talk through that. As you saw, some of the features I include was dual language wireframes. There's Spanish and English versions to cater to the diverse audience we were targeting. Um, Overall, when this would be completed and everything, there would be transitions, video playback, and voiceover to gauge the audience effectively. Um, as you saw, there were no voiceover right now, but there were transitions, and if this was uploaded to TikTok, they would be able to continue to replay the video when they wanted to and needed to understand the content. And when it came to accessibility and usability, it was designed to accommodate individuals with varying literacy levels and visual impairments. With a simple page layout and the information hierarchy facilitates the message conveyance and content flow. I chose a mid-level design quality for this wireframe, as there are previous research has shown positive evaluations of effective communication with them. For message delivery, I took a fear-based approach um, to highlight the physical and social harm of vaping in Gen Z, and I wanted consistent and clear messaging on the risk of vaping to resonate with the target audience. And I kept the message simplified because we needed to avoid technical language to suit the audience low socioeconomic and literacy backgrounds, and utilizing short sentences and clear action steps to improve the information retention and encourage desired behavioral change. I'm going to show the second TikTok now. Design features for this second part, as again, dual part wireframes. This time, not only were there dual languages, but there were two parts, one for the main information, and the other was a call to action to cater to the audience engagement and behavior change. Um, Again, there was no voiceover for this one, but it was designed to have a voiceover, and it was designed to the voiceover to enhance accessibility and usability. When it comes to usability and accessibility, I use again a simple page layout for both parts to facilitate easy understanding and the message conveyance. Again, I chose a mid-level design quality based off previous research on positive evaluations and effective communication when it comes to mid-level design quality. And lastly, when it comes to the informational hierarchy and visual cues, um, I use titles and subheads to highlight the main topic and distinguish between myths and facts using color coding. And again, there was a call to action sections encouraging engagement and interaction with health experts for further information and support. Um, some other features include the message delivery. Again, like the last one, I took a fear-based approach and I avoided technical language to suit the audience low socioeconomic and literacy backgrounds. I used short sentences to be consistent with messaging to improve information retention. And I used supportive graphics for comprehension as with the patient talking to a doctor to enhance viewer comprehension and support the call to action. Um, This was a example I created for a usability interview for the Persona 2 Hispanic Latino male high schoolers. They would first open TikTok, navigate to the search function, search for the Vaping Interventions official TikTok account, and follow the account. They would then move on to watching 1 to 2 educational videos in Spanish about the dangers of vaping and methods to quit. They would then click the message feature or email the account. The email is listed at the bottom of every video and in the bio of the account, as you saw with the videos there, with any specific question they had, and it could be in their native language, and health professionals who speak that language will contact them and assist them at no cost. The fourth step, um, they'll be able to find and follow links on the intervention's official TikTok account to free support resources that are in Spanish to learn more about the dangers of vaping and methods to quit. They would then turn on notifications for the intervention's official TikTok account to receive updates and information about new videos highlighting the vaping dangers and methods to quit. They would then leave a comment with feedback on the TikTok's content and website resources. And lastly, they can find and follow links on the intervention's official TikTok account to take a survey. The survey will test their understanding of the health information provided and provide feedback on the intervention resources. Those who complete the survey will receive a small amount of financial compensation. Um, the reason why the usability was set up this way for this persona of Hispanic Latino high school user groups was language accessibility and providing information and assistance in Spanish to accommodate low English proficiency among their community. And it will allow direct communication with health professionals in Spanish to ensure effective understanding and engagement, as we saw in steps 2, 3, and 4. And next, financial resources by offering financial incentives to incentivize the participation and completion of the intervention in the survey was there for step 7, and providing free resources and access to healthcare professionals at no cost to overcome financial barriers. Again, some additional things that I took into creating this usability, and it was rationale and research bias basis. Language proficiency and vaping prevention. There's previous research has shown that higher language proficiency and English correlates with lower odds of vaping initiation among immigrants. So focusing on delivering information and assistance in Spanish addresses the language barrier and enhances engagement. The financial incentives and participations, as financial incentives have proven effective influencing health decisions across various populations and settings we have saw in previous research. By offering conversation and free resources, it aims to motivate participation and engagement among individuals from low resource backgrounds. Um, Lastly, the impact on motivation and participation by addressing language proficiency and financial constraints. And this intervention aims to increase motivation and participation in health interventions among the Hispanic, Latino, and high school there's user group. Lastly, I want to talk about the limitations and challenges of this proposed health intervention. Previously, I did talk about the feasibility. It's low cost and wide reaching. It utilizes social media as an intervention that offers low cost as a low cost method, and it to reach a young audience that is particularly susceptible to vaping. However, there are limitations and challenges, as there's difficulty in distinguishing reputable information now in our today's world with social media, as a previous study questioned the ability of preteen users to discern between reputable mental and public health professional information and non-professional equivalents. Similarly, Generation Z users may struggle to differentiate between credible vaping and public health information versus non-professional sources, especially given the social popularity of vaping in peers. Um, these are my references, as you can see here and here. That is all I have today. Thank you for your time. I hope this presentation was valuable and informational, educational on how we can use this proposed health intervention into stopping the vaping epidemic in our country and helping Generation Z.